Hey, this is me building a $3 million a year business in public. The way these videos always go is I start with a little bit of Q&A just to deliver some value right off the bat. And then also it's an engagement hack for this channel, makes me rank higher. Then I talk about growth stats. And then I finally round it out with some live strategy. This is my main channel here at 124K subs. And then this is my daily updates channel. I just scroll all the way to the bottom and answer the last question. So that is from G. Erasmus. He says 1232, invest in fast components for your desktop computer, 64 gigs of RAM minimum. When you do this, apps open almost instantly and you don't need the latest. He then gives us his desktop breakdown, and the setup will be great for office work until 2030. Upgrading coming after the money. Hell yeah, man. Good mindset. Thank you very much for the tips. I agree that RAM is like the main thing to worry about. Most limitations and bottlenecks and, just modern day computing are, memory related. So I'm right there with you. I think I got 64 gigs right now. I'll double check after the stream. Hamda says, hey, Nick, really appreciate all the value you've been sharing. I'm building an email automation system for a client and using it for myself too. And I've run into an issue with the 45-minute timeout in Make. Usually hits after processing around 300 leads when generating icebreakers at scale. I'd use a perplexity search before passing it to a ChatGPT module, which takes a little bit longer than usual. Nonetheless, I've been thinking about splitting the scenario to get around it, but I'd love to hear how would you approach this, and breaking up the scenario is the way to go. How'd you do it? Sure. Let me just run you through what it looks like in general. Basically, this is you right now. You have some sort of input. This input cycles, let's say, 1,000 times. This, this has a built-in iterator, I guess. You're then feeding this into something that's a variable length. And then basically what happens is this takes, let's say 30 seconds to execute every time. Sorry, that's wrong. Let's say 5 seconds to execute every time. That means this gets to run 12 times a minute. Or if we extrapolate this for a 45-minute timeout, it runs something like 600 times. My math ain't entirely correct, but 600 times before it times out. Okay, so the total length of the scenario run is a very, very long time because this is a variable execution time. Sometimes it's 5 seconds. Sometimes it takes 10 seconds. When you're working with AI modules, this just tends to happen. So what you basically do is, instead of doing this loop where basically you go through, you process, you have some variable length time, and then, you presumably just loop back and just do the same thing over and over and over again. What you do is you split the scenario. I'll show you guys how to do this in a second, where you have your thing that iterates, 1,000 times, let's say, but it immediately then passes this off via HTTP request to some other service. And what this does is, if you think about it, this is your webhook. This actually executes instantly. So instead of it being 5 seconds, this is 0.001 seconds or something like that. Meaning in, 45 minutes, which is 60 seconds, that's 2,700. If you divide this by 0.0015, you could theoretically run 1,800,000 records in the same time that you run this, which caps you at 600. The value in this, and kind of the way that this works, is you receive, I think it's a 201 instead of a 200. So you don't actually wait for it to execute. Let me show you what this looks like in practical terms. So if I have a little parse JSON module here, then if I just create my own JSON string, I'm just going to call this array. And then I'm going to have an array inside of array. Just move this because this is getting kind of annoying, with 3 elements, 1, 2, and 3. I'm not going to run this module only. We're going to have that array with 3 elements. I'm then going to iterate over it. Let's add that in here. For our input, we'll feed in the array. And now what we do, if you think about it, we'll just run this anyway. This is now outputting 3 bundles, 1 for the first run, 2 for the second run, and 3 for the third run. And now I'm just going to simulate your variable execution time with 5 seconds, right? Notice how this is now what's going on. We've executed this, and then this is our AI module. This is taking 5 seconds or so per execution. What's the total length of time that this scenario is going to take to execute? Well, it's going to be like 15.1 seconds, and the 0.1 is just for these two, right? Now, let me open up another scenario instead. And instead of this sleep, what we're going to do is we're just going to do an HTTP request. Over here in the second scenario, you guys will have to bear with me here because I'm laggy as hell. We're going to grab a webhook. We're going to say, this is example for YouTube. I think I have 500 examples by now. Copy the address to the clipboard. Here, we're going to go make a request. I'm going to feed that in. For query string parameter, we'll just say, order, and then we'll just feed in the value. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to run this. I'm going to run this. Okay, and then here I'm going to add a sleep just because I want this to work sequentially. I'm going to run this again. We're going to wait for new data. Now I'm going to run this again. Okay, so the first time it ran, this scenario here took 5 seconds to execute. This one, though, executed immediately. We actually just finished with the 3. You want to try that again? Let's go. Uno, dos, tres. Done. So it doesn't matter how many records you're feeding in here. What we're doing is we're queuing these up on the webhook side of things. So if this is your AI module, you'll never, ever run into timeout limits here because you're just like immediately executing everything on the sender end. And then just split this up so that the first scenario is sender, the second scenario is receiver. You don't have to do it this way either, by the way. There's scenario, call a sub-scenario. You could do a make.com module as well. I think run a scenario. They've introduced some new functionality to basically duplicate what it is I'm trying to show you here, but I prefer webhooks. They're just the simplest. So that's how I do it, okay? Just make sure the Perplexity search module and the ChatGPT module are in the receiving scenario. And you can do whatever the heck you want with that. Old Mr. Mac, hey Mr. Mac, says, just wanted to say thanks for all you do. I joined Maker School yesterday and I'm looking forward to some accountability. You're a legend. Keep it up. All the best, Scott. Thank you very much, Scott Mac. You teacher, man? Good having you. Akshit says, hey Nick, love your daily updates. I'm doing 200, whoa. I don't have in there. I'm currently doing 200 cold emails a day for almost 5 days now and still haven't gotten a reply. Am I doing something wrong or do I just need to be patient? You're probably doing something wrong. When you say 200 cold emails, I imagine you're sending to 200 new leads a day, right? So that's 1,000 leads contacted. You may be kind of misunderstanding this. It's possible. Maybe you have a 3-step sequence with 200 cold emails a day spread across the 3-step sequence. If that's the case, then you're only sending 66 a day, which multiplied by 5 is 330. If you're only at 330, it's kind of questionable. But anyway, I'm assuming you're at 1,000 leads. So if you're at 1,000 leads and you have yet to get any sort of reply, whether positive or negative, yeah, you're doing something wrong. Overwhelmingly likely that it's the copy. Overwhelmingly likely that it's the copy. I would kind of step-by-step start by adding yourself to the email sequence, sending it immediately, and just seeing if there's anything wrong. Make sure you preview. When I say anything wrong, I mean like weird HTML formatting. I mean like something that's just like really ugly. Maybe, I don't know, you strip the new lines or something like that. So it's just a bunch of things in a row. After that, I would figure out what it is in the subject line, teaser, and or body of the email that's just putting people off. If you haven't already watched my copywriting tutorial that I bundled into Watch Me Start and Sell an AI service, definitely give that a go. Just Google Watch Me Start and Sell an AI service, Nick, and then watch this. I actually run you through a step-by-step. Let me turn this off. Good God, Nick. When will you shut up? Okay. I actually run through a whole copywriting guide over here that includes my 4-step, email copy framework where I basically answer questions like spam, who are you, why, and then, okay, what are you going to do about it? And then I talk you through like that whole process step by step. That should give you enough knowledge to at least immediately diagnose and make some changes that will enable you to send the next 1,000 emails and they get more than one reply. So go out there, do it. And then, assuming that you've done that, after your second 1,000th email and X replies, come back here and let me know what the problem is. And I can continue guiding you. Okay. Giovanna says, hey, Nick, how many follow-ups do you recommend on a cold email campaign? Would it differ if you're still testing an offer you've already found product market fit? I start with 2 emails in total. So 1 main email and then 1 follow-up email. The reason why I do this is because put yourself in the shoes of somebody that is reading a really crappy email. And also just like think about your own consumer behavior in general. How many times have you received an email from somebody that's pitching you something? You've opened it, you've read it, and then you just like marked it as unread and then just like thought, okay, I'll deal with this later. Or maybe you just like, didn't mark it as unread and just said, okay, well, I'm not going to look back on that. If it's not a good email, that person follows up, you are so much more likely to report that as spam. I mean, statistically, it's like 100x more likely. If they follow up again, you're like 1,000x more likely. And what is the number one thing that we are trying to avoid here in cold email? We're trying to avoid being marked as spam. So to make a long story short, before you know that your email copy is good, do not add more than an additional follow-up. And I space this out so it's like, 48 hours or so. After you know that your email copy is acceptable, and when I say acceptable, I mean maybe you're getting like a 3% reply or like a, 0.5 to 1% positive reply rate. Then you can add follow-ups. And what you'll find is your total reply rate and your positive reply rate, your total reply rate will go up and your positive reply rate will probably go down as a fraction of total replies, but the number of positive replies are still going to increase. All right, how many emails do I send before evaluating metrics? Like technically there are a lot of stats here. I focus not on statistical significance, but I do combine it with my own intuition. 1,000 emails a day is fine. And this is what I tell people in Maker School. 1,000 emails, an iteration is fine. So if you send 1,000 emails for a campaign, and that's campaign A, and then you've sent 1,000 emails for campaign B, you should now be in a place where you can use these stats to distinguish between the quality of campaign A and then confidently make a change or maybe select a better one. Let's say this is at 0.5% and this is at 0.9%. That's almost a 2x difference across 1,000 emails. I would definitely choose, let's change this to blue to represent good. I would definitely choose campaign B in this instance. So yeah. And typically, just to make a long story short, the simplest way to do this is just set a weekly cadence, and like every Sunday or maybe every Monday morning or whatever you want your day to be, just like check the progress of the previous week's emails. One of the reasons why I do 135 emails a day, so 270 emails, which is equivalent to 9 mailboxes sending at 30 a day, split in half because we're doing a 2-step sequence. One of the reasons I do 135 emails a day is because the math just works out kind of like this. This is about 1,000 emails a week that you can send if you're sending 7 days a week. What that means is basically every week you have enough data upon your split test or whatever to feel confident in making a decision, and you just do it on a weekly cadence. Now, if you're doing, 10,000 emails a day, you can actually iterate like every 3 hours or something. But I'm assuming you guys are kind of resource bottlenecked here. Most of my audience is beginners. So yeah, I say about 1,000 emails. Okay, one more from Alejandro. He says, hey there, Nick. Thanks for replying to my previous question. I do have another. What are the most suitable niches and product and services to build for clients that you can charge monthly based on usage or a particular retainer? I usually don't do usage-based, but essentially like a custom mini SaaS and ideally reproducible in other businesses too. Thanks again. Keep it, man. And don't get hacked. Hello, reputable password manager and 2FA. Hello, 1Pass. Thank you very much. So yeah, here's what I think about this. Most suitable niche and products or services to build for clients. In a nutshell, how many times have I said some variant of that recently in this video? I'm getting pretty tired, I could tell. This is a little later than I normally do these daily updates. In a nutshell, you want to focus on things like, here, I'll give you some systems. Cold email systems. It's very easy to justify a monthly recurring relationship with the classic cold email system. Some sort of like CRM management. Very easy to justify some sort of ongoing recurring relationship with CRM management. Some sort of voice agent. I was just in a voice agent community call, hence why I'm talking about this now. It's just top of mind. Pretty easy to justify some sort of ongoing monthly recurring thing. Let me give you an example of cold email. You might send 10,000 leads a month. You might have one 45-minute strategy session. You might offer a monthly report with a breakdown. And then you might also do end-to-end campaign management with nurturing. So you actually manage all the inbox or unibox or whatever. You might sell this collectively for around, let's say $3,270 a month plus $98 per lead. This is something very similar to what I used to do. So this is a very simple and easy way to do it. You could do the same thing with CRMs. You could do end-to-end CRM management. But let's make this different. Let's throw some hours here and say instead of doing like a deliverable productized based system, which is ideal for sure, but I just wanted to give you guys an alternative for the people that might be a little bit closer to the start line that are considering doing this from an hourly perspective. You do some sort of end-to-end CRM management. You give them, let's say, 40 hours a month in new build time. You then also give them unlimited maintenance. I don't think I spelled that right. On old systems. So basically you're saying, I'm going to maintain all of your old systems plus give you 40 hours of new build time. And then you're also going to get 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Slack availability Monday to Friday for things like Q&A, training, and so on and so forth. So now you bundle all this stuff together and, what's something you can charge for here? Maybe you do, 40 hours? Normally you do it at like, 120 an hour. So normally you charge 4.8K for this. What you do, you just give them a 20 or not 20%, but you give them a $20 an hour discount and then you charge them $4,000 or, maybe $4,120. Okay. Voice agents, maybe you do something like, maybe we should do hourly again, or no, maybe we do like 3. Okay, we do a weekly strategy, because can you guys tell I haven't sold one of these retainers before? Weekly strategy call. I've bundled in voice agents into my retainers, but I haven't actually sold like a voice agent specific retainer. But I have heard of a lot of people do that, so I just wanted to put that in. Weekly strategy call. Maybe you receive like a weekly report. Maybe you do some sort of like call analysis where you actually listen to calls. And you do that like once a week. Maybe you bundle that in with your weekly report. You offer, I don't know, up to, let's say, 100 hours of voice agent uptime. And you're doing this, one, because it just like makes the amount of time that the voice agent is like talking to people a one-to-one comparable with how much time you would have to pay a human being to do it. So it's just like an easier thing for the customer to conceptualize, your value. It's like, okay, well, I normally pay for 160 hours. And you get to say, well, you don't have to here because voice agents aren't online 24/7. You only pay for the time that the voice agent is online, which is only when a call comes in. So I don't know, like, I mean, I'm saying 100 hours here, assuming it's like a call center that's really busy. But, if you're selling it to one clinic or something that normally actually only has, despite paying 160 hours a month of like a customer service or front desk management staff member, the actual call time there might be like 2 hours. I'm just pitching this as 100 hours because I'm assuming you're in some big call center or something, okay? And then maybe you also have, I don't know, unlimited maintenance on old voice agents. So you do the math, you figure out what the internal cost is of 100 hours multiplied by the billable rate of the voice agent provider, obviously with the given model and stuff like that. You kind of do the math in your time and the weekly analysis. And I don't know, maybe this comes out to be a lower price of $2,180 per month, just all in. Super simple, super straightforward. Here are 3 retainers that you could sell. Are these the best retainers of all time? No. But are these retainers that you can get up and running with to sell immediately? Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to do some brand stats. I'm going to wrap this up because we're getting a little bit late. We are now at June the 3rd. My main channel is at 124,014. Let's go back here, which means we've gone up by about 1,000 or so. So we've been more or less growing extraordinarily steadily over the last few days. Like about 1,000 every day. 191,943 on the Instagram. And then this main, or rather this daily updates channel, this is 6217. You guys seeing this? That is about the same size as the void in my soul. Weird. Yeah, kind of crappy that we missed that day, huh? Anyway, what else do I have to do today? I just have to pay my staff members, and then I'm going to wrap it up. I had a pretty productive day, all things considered. We had a good seminar for Maker School. I got another seminar coming up for Make Money with Make tomorrow morning. I also had a one-on-one with a lovely, very bright and intelligent chap, Lucas. So I'm looking forward to connecting with him. Did a bunch of planning, did a bunch of content ideation, strategy. I am now an N8N creator. That just means like I've signed up for their creator program and I'm submitting templates. So I'm going to put up some of my N8N templates on their website. Kind of a strategic thing, but anyway, that's fun. And I got a couple other things going on. Unfortunately, we're light on the strategy today just because I got to get to doing some more unpacking. The move is going pretty well. Yeah, lovely place. I'm looking forward to living here. Anyway, thanks so much for joining another daily update. Check out Maker School. We are at 2,900 members, just had another price increase. You guys want to get in before the inevitable 3,000 and the subsequent major price increase that I'm going to put forth. Because I got to be honest, I'm kind of running into some bottlenecks and limits on my end on that front. Definitely get in now because it would suck for you to be on the fence this whole time, really want to get in and make some change, and then have me, quadruple the price or something unbelievable. Thanks so much. I'll see y'all tomorrow.